Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. So happy to see each and every one of you guys here again on Lunchtime with Anna. Before we get started, as always, I want to tell you guys COVID is still out there. Please wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize. You should already be doing this anyways, but especially our older people and people at risk. Those are the ones I truly worry about. So please just keep an eye out, and just do what you have to do to protect others. It's not really about you. It's kind of selfish if we make it about us, right? So let's just help another person not get sick, because you don't know what underlying diseases they may have or anything that may have them catch COVID. Um, I also wanted to give about 10 seconds of silence, if we could, for my uncle. I'm really big on heart disease. My uncle just passed away and the 22nd of October, and I wanted to see if we can give him about 10 seconds of silence for him and my family, all of us who are now mourning his death. Thank you. So what I wanted to do was I also wanted to, my merchandise is made by Elevated Shift, Samori McPherson, who does all, I mean, you name it, he does it. Place your order with him. Let him know Lunchtime with Anna send you. He will take good care of you. And his Gmail here is elevated shift embroid at gmail.com. I've had a few people that have ordered from him, so it's pretty cool. When I get these messages that people are ordering from him or whatever. So please, if you want the style, he'll do it. So there goes kind of, so you guys can see, I got Cartoon Anna, Lunchtime with Anna on there. So today is going to be a very, very special show. I have New York Creep Spotlight here, aka he's also known as FM, and I have Shem. Once you guys hear this interview, you guys are going to see why I brought these two great. I mean, to me, they're great men and doing what they do to help the community, and you guys will see why. I've really been looking forward to this show. It seems like the shows are getting like one's topping the other. So we'll see how this goes. Let me welcome the guests. Hello, fellas.
Hey, what's going on?
Blessings, blessings.
How's everyone doing? How's everybody been? Shem, nice to have you again as always. You're welcome here anytime. You can just pop in. Just send me a link. Just tell me, send me a link in, and you're right in. You know that.
Thank you.
FM, how are you?
I'm doing well. You know, it's another blessed day.
Absolutely. So let's start with FM. What do you do? Why are you here?
All right, everybody. Anybody that know me, my goes by is FM. Y'all know me as my YouTube channel, New York Creep Spotlight. What I do is I go online and catch predators, guys that prey on minors, kids, and I expose them to the world if I could. And some do get arrested. Lately, I have almost 3 arrests so far. So, yeah, I'm just spreading awareness here in New York City.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask because we were joking about this last night when we did the pre-interview. Mikey, come on, Mikey.
Oh, Mikey. Poor Mikey.
Yes, tell us about that.
Oh, Mikey. I caught Mikey on the app, a dating app. I didn't know what he was doing at first. I mean, as job career wise, I didn't know. Well, Mikey reached out to me first on the dating app. I told him my age, which I always say I'm a 14 years old, little virgin from the Bronx. And he went for it, He said very explicit stuff during the chat logs. He wanted to meet anxiously. So you see in the video how I met up with him.
So Shem, and I meant to send you this link before the show. I've been swamped with calls right before the show, but it was so. And well, the whole scene was not hilarious because that stuff really, you know how I feel about the whole predator and mistreating women and children, all that kind of stuff. But
Right.
just the way he approached them was like, Mikey. This was a 23-year-old guy. I believe he was a police officer. He worked for the state, was it?
He worked for the DHS housing, which is they still police. They take the oath as police officers, as their commanders officers told me, because I wanted to make sure, when I go public with it, I'm saying the right thing. So they made us very aware. They're part of the police department. They're part of the branch,
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So Mikey disgraced everybody, basically.
So FM was even like on the live. He's telling the neighbors from the same building because it's different up north. So I'm like, that's right. Expose them all for what they are. They need to be exposed.
Exactly. I mean, that's what they deserve, because these dudes do things behind closed doors. You never know who it is. It could be your best friend. It could be your dad, your mom. It's not only men that's doing this. I call it a female predator as well. It's actually a couple, but again, it goes to show you don't know who's who out here. Just be aware, man. It could be anybody.
Yes. So can you go a little bit into the women predators? So that the listening audience gets a grasp of that. Because Shem, you are familiar with this as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to have you answer that for me, FM, and then I'm going to go into Shem real quick, and then we'll come back with you because, both you guys, to me, connect in a very special way.
Right. Well, female predators are very hard to catch. They're very smart. They prey on people they actually know. They very calculated. In this case, this couple, this female wasn't very calculated, sloppy. I got all the information, but female predators in general, as you're seeing in documentaries and all, they prey on kids they know half the time, majority of the time. So coming across the female pred online dating app, it's very rare, but they're out there, So again, it could be men or female. It could be teachers, doctors, lawyers, judges. It could be anybody. Anybody.
That's horrendous. So and one thing I want you guys to know, he's actually had a live. That's actually how I ran into FM. He posted this on a fellow Puerto Rican website. Okay, many of you guys know I'm Boricua, one of your Latina sisters or whatever. So I run into this. Normally I don't pay attention because I'm like spam, but he caught this lady going to go meet. I think it was supposed to be a 14-year-old girl. Right. I guess the boyfriend was upstairs or something, and then she tries to act like.
Yeah, that couple was from Queens. If you're familiar with New York, they're from Queens. That couple was her name was Julie. Her boyfriend was Alfredo. He was doing most of the chat, but she was also in the chat too. They sent me homemade porn. They thought I was a 14-year-old little girl. It goes to show you, what blows my mind, he sent her out to go meet the girl. It doesn't matter. They both guilty as charged. You know what I mean? They wanted to host a little girl. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
It is. It's especially when we have children, when we have nieces, when we have nephews, when we have other children, we just love children. It's just you got really evil people out there, and it's disgusting. And I commend you, as I'm sure that a lot of this nation does. commend you for what it is that you do, because I know you're not only local, I know you've gone to other places, which I
Right.
know you choose to not disclose for, whatever is being investigated. And that's really good. That's really good, man. Continue it, FM, continue it. I'm going to come back right back with you.
No
Shem,
problem.
good afternoon. Always a pleasure to have you here. You and Imani and, anybody messages me and they say any of your two names, you're always like to me, just because of the great men that you guys are and what you guys put into this community for women and children, and some men as well, but the good ones, I say. But can
Thank you.
you tell a little bit of who you are, what you do, and I'll explain to the audience how you guys connect. I'm sure they'll pick up on it right after they hear what you do.
I'm Star Shemuel Benyamin, Coach Sam. I run a program called the BUSS System Academy, the Bancroft Urban Survival System, and it is a fighting or combative system based on Muay Thai, American kickboxing, Russian style, Sistema, Kali, Kesi, and a few other things thrown in there. We've developed a combative style or a fighting style that is inclusive to everybody, teaching men, women, and children all lines of self-defense, rape prevention, sex trafficking. We focus very heavy on community protection. We spend a lot of time on preparing the men, teaching them ways or various different ways and techniques on how to be protectors in the home, be protectors in the community. We spend a lot of time on teaching women techniques and things that are inclusive to them and not just solely for masculine structures and men to be able to dominate in defense tactics. We also have condensed the program to include children. So that way it's everybody can get something from the training. There's always a way for somebody to be able to defend themselves. We just have to, as instructors, we have to understand ways to help people to articulate in the best manner when it comes to being able to protect themselves. So we have over 30 years of experience in martial arts. 16 plus years in public and private security, bodyguarding, international security, which I run an international security company now. So we spend a lot of time with a lot of live application, a lot of hours, thousands of hours in training, and a lot of time in live application. So we're able to bring all that information back to the community and bring the best of what we can to the people.
I do that all the time, and I'm sorry, you guys. I'm really bad at forgetting that I muted it. But Hashem, I want to tell you what you do is amazing. For this guy to actually get on Zoom, and I mean, he does security. I know he won't brag about it, but I've seen a few of his posts of people they do security for that are A-list. I will say people out there, A-list, okay? So it's pretty cool to see what you do and how you give back and actually help with these training. For many of you that know, I do have a special needs son, and I do have another child that, I'll say teenagers that are in the process of getting into Shem's combative program, because I want them to be able to protect themselves if they're ever found in a situation where somebody tries to mess with them. I want you guys to know that he does Zoom. Get at him before he leaves today. He'll let you guys know, okay, this is how you can reach out to me. This is what this is how you can get into the Zoom. I felt that it was very important with these sickos that FM catches, and on the other hand, you got Shem giving the training for both of them to give their information and what they know and unite it together to help people across the nation. And for Shem, he's clearly across the world. This guy is he's doing training across the world. I want to see him myself, but I have seen videos. I take that back. I've seen videos. He's a pretty young man. What was that? Doing a kick to the head that I saw. I was like, okay. So he's pretty bad. So I just thought that it would be good for you guys to see. These sickles are here. You got FM who's catching them and exposing them for what they do. And thank God they're getting arrested with charges. You're going to be charged. If you're doing this disgusting stuff that you do to children, you're going to be charged. Period. Period. So I wanted to make sure and FM you can. So I wanted to make sure if you with you, Shem, if you can go back and tell me, because I know you work with Kimani, unless that's like a different department. How did that boot camp go? I'm so upset I couldn't go this weekend because I had that domestic violence engagement with. I was like, yay! But I had already said I would be there like a month before. So I wanted to ask you, how did that go? How was the training? How were the women? I'm sure there was children somewhere there. How did it go?
Let me tell you, it was probably the best one yet. We really got a good chance to, definitely go over close quarter self-defense. Kamani killed the game with teaching them gun training, long range, getting them proficient with the weapon. You had women that were shooting 300 meters shots. It was really powerful. We were able to articulate a lot of combative movement. We worked on gun defense. We worked on knife defense, sex trafficking, kidnap positioning, how to get out of those situations. So it was really, really powerful. But the most important thing I think about the weekend was the tribal camaraderie. And to hear the sisters say that, it was my wife. My wife was there, and to see, about 14 to 15 women say that amongst two men that they felt protected and they felt safe. I think that was very touching for me, especially being a husband, being a father, having girls. So it was very, very important for me to hear that. And, to be able to provide a sense of security. It was also kind of saddening because working with women, you hear so often that they don't feel protected. They don't feel safe. And to be amongst men and not feel safe or not have an environment to where you can bring your daughter around older men and not have these men gawking at them or, trying to, pass some kind of perverse eye or, some kind of subtle movement here and there. Like it's saddening that we live in a society right now to where these things are taking place. And what Brother FM is doing, I truly commend it because it needs to be done. They need to be brought to the light. The thing that really irritates me, and I get a lot of flack for this because I don't teach, especially in these times, I don't teach women to just hurt the opponent. I feel like it's a checks and balances. It's a balance thing. There are two things that you cannot replace, and that's someone's life and chastity if you take it from somebody. And the only way and the only balance, and I condemn our legal system for this. Jail is never enough. A child predator, a rapist, prison time, to me, it just isn't enough. And I don't think it's fair that these young women and young children have to worry about 5 or 10 years later that this sick individual, I forgot this sick individual has been released, and now, God forbid, you're at a basketball game or you're going to the coffee store or whatever, and you see this person again. That's reliving the death, the trauma that you have. It might have taken you 10 years to get some sort of normality back, and now you got to relive this thing all over again. I think these things, if found guilty and proven guilty, they need to be mandatory death sentences. You know, and I don't think that there needs to be a place on this earth for individuals like that. That's just me. And I know it's taboo. I know people, you know, some people don't agree with it, but that's mine.
That's why we're in the United States of America. We're all entitled to our own opinion, and
Yeah.
there's many that agree with you. Many out there that agree with you.
I wish we could work something out where FM catches him and he brings him to us, and we go get him. I wish it was something we could work.
I'll be with it. I'll be with it. I'll be with it. Yeah, but Sam is right. 100% right. I could agree with him anymore. You know, it's the society we live in. It's not good, man. These guys don't care. They don't have no chill. You know. Again, it's up to the parents to spread awareness as well. Go through their devices, bully them, bully their devices. You bought them, it's yours. Go through it,
Sure.
talk to your kid, keep them busy, put them in programs. There's a lot of MMA programs teaching self-defense, which I agree with Shem. A lot of women and kids should learn self-defense, 100%. There's a lot of sick individuals out here. Lots. You don't know who's amongst them. It could be your best friend. And I caught guys and their best friends hit me up. I knew who for 20 years. I can't believe it. Well, believe it. You think you know, but you don't know.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. And I think, was it Mikey that I was reading about? And the reason why we're saying these names, it's already public. So
Right.
they're already caught. Mikey's spouse is aware. I know that. You know, everybody knows. You know, you're gonna be put on social media, and that's for sure. But was it Mikey that when he was caught, there was a family member? Because I was actually reading this through the New York Creeps Spotlight. I think it was the group page. And I was reading that the family member didn't believe it. And it was just kind of sad because you don't think that that person is your family. You don't think that person is your spouse. You don't think that person is your friend, you know? So just be vigilant, guys. Not everybody's a good person. Not everybody has good intentions. And that includes, you know, people that we run into and that we trust every day with our children. I mean, FM has told me some stories that I was like, wow, you know, when we're interviewing.
Be careful. Like, if you're around a group of people, you could tell. You see, have a teenage daughter and she walks by and you just glance to any grown man and they catch eye, there goes your sign. There should be no looking at all. I don't care at all. It's creepy. It's nasty. You know, the signs are there.
I'm sorry. You know, one of the things that we end up finding out is that, and this is what's oftentimes disturbing.
Shem, you're coming and going.
You hear me now?
I don't know what happened.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. What we oftentimes find out is that you have a lot of people that just sweep it under the rug. They turn a blind eye, and that's some of the worst reaction to these things that you can possibly have. That they may know of an uncle, or they may know of a cousin, or a friend who is doing this, but they turn that blind eye because they don't want to be the one to check that individual, or they don't want to be the one to be the whistleblower. And as long as you don't blow the whistle, it's going to continue to happen. And now you have not just one victim, you have two victims, you have three victims, you have four victims. And that's why you have these cases that come out, and where you 10 years later, 15 years later, one person blows a whistle, and then they come out with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 individuals that say, hey, he did it to me, or she did it to me. And I can speak to this now at 40 years old. I was 3 years old the first time it happened to me. So from the age of 3 to 14, around 13, 3 to 13, I had been touched or bothered by multiple different women. And they were all from the ages of 15 to 35. And this was a thing that you would think, you say, okay, well, man, you're 13 years old with a 35-year-old woman. That's not normal. That's not good. And most people would brag at it. And at certain age, in the 80s, you never complained about things, you know, and it was nothing for, it was never a platform for little boys to come out and say, hey, somebody did something to me. You know, there was never a comfort level for young Black boys to come out and say, hey, this lady touched me, or my older cousin, or my older this person, or this older woman came and did this, that, and the third to me. I was 3 years old being taken out of my sleeping bag in school, taken into the office at 3 years old, you know, and those were my first experiences. And as I got older, I always thought that having older women was the thing. So I never got to appreciate women my age, because I was always, and that was the conditioning that I thought was normal. But it's those things, man, that, you know, we have so many men that were in my position that never spoke out, because it was something that they were, you know, that had been ingrained in their minds that, okay, I guess this is normal because nobody's going to help. So.
That's deep. I actually did a show. I'm not sure if any of you guys caught it. It was about 3 weeks ago, I think. And it was on men that had been sexually abused. You'll be surprised at the men that are sexually abused, and it's such a hush taboo topic because nobody wants to talk about it, but it really happens. I always tell people, protect your boys like you protect your girls. Protect them with your life, because there's just sick people out there. And let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you guys one thing. You come at mine, I'm coming at you. I don't care. I don't care what happens, because they're mine and I have to protect them at all costs. Period. So, you know, I'm really big on people. You know, it drives me crazy when I see adults that just turn their face and act like as if nothing ever happened. It's not right. You know, so it's something to think about, especially with children. We're the only ones that are here to protect them. Protect them with your life. Protect them. You brought them in this world. They didn't ask to come in this world. That should just click in logically. They're mine. I protect them. Shem, I've also seen some awesome videos about how you train young ladies and young men, I'm sure, to protect themselves in a car if they are being taken away. I recommend that, you know, and I'll give you guys, well, he can give you guys his information as he's about to log off today, because he put some pretty awesome videos there. And if you guys can follow him, you know, I'm sure he's busy, can't always accept your requests, but I'm sure he makes those videos to where people can see him, and you can just follow him and just look at those and share them, because this is stuff we all need to know. This is stuff your babies need to know if they're ever in these situations. Now, Shem, I'm not sure about this, and then I'm going to go back to FM. I'm not sure about this. Were you involved with what Kimani was involved with, the sex trafficking that was going on down in ATL when it was really hot? Were you involved with helping out with that?
Yes, ma'am. As a matter of fact, I got in on, in our community, we were doing something very similar to that. And then Kamani was spearheading this thing. It was a monster movement that he was doing. And I was just honored to kind of fall in. He and I met, I was bodyguarding, and he and I ended up meeting, and we just kind of locked, you know, and clicked. And that's been my brother ever since, you know, and we've been, you know, working together on these things. And Kamani has done some amazing things. In when it comes to sex trafficking and things of that nature, and protecting the community. I mean, he has been hands-on. He has been really fighting, and I mean really fighting. No press, no major media coverage. We've really uncovered some major things, some major corruption here in the city, and you know, it's unfortunate that there's not more support coming in. It's unfortunate that there's not more, you know, community support, but it is what it is. We don't do it for the credit. We don't do it for the spotlight. We're going to keep fighting until we have nothing left in us to fight with. So, but it's a beautiful thing what he was able to do. I was just happy to be a part of it.
I remember interviewing him, man. I was just like, when, you know, I heard a lot of, if you guys want to go back to a year, he was really strong doing what he was doing, along with, you know, the people that were around him. It might be a little bit longer, but it was around that time that here in ATL, there was children just missing left and right. It just seemed like they were just stealing them like candy, and it was just heart-wrenching to even think of your kids going out because they were just taking them. And I'm sure you can elaborate to that and remember that time where, fortunately, I think it's slowed down. Am I right to say that? Because
Yes.
I don't think I've seen too much like we used to. And it's just again, you guys look them up. These guys, like when it comes to Kimani and Sham and now FM, they asked me, look, I need a favor. Can you expose this? Without a doubt, they can count on Lunchtime with Anna and anybody in my circle for me to speak with them and have them involved in somehow, some way, whether it's the nonprofit or for-profit or whatever it may be. That's for sure. Because I mean, to me, guys that do this just show that there's still real men out there. Like I say, Sham, men. You don't get these men anymore. They're afraid. They're like, it's us having a fight, you know. It's almost like me and myself, you know. So you don't get that too much anymore. So just I can never thank you enough, and you, FM, for what you guys do. And I'm sure others along the way that do these great things for our community, our nation, and you, Shem, worldwide, as I'm sure Kimani's worldwide, what you guys do, I just can't say enough. Thank you. Thank you for all of us. FM.
Right, yes.
So now I want to ask you, when it comes to the sites that these sickos use, can you please give the listening audience, because not even I'm up on my teenagers' phones, devices 24/7, but there might be something that, you know what, maybe I'm not aware of. Maybe I don't know about. Maybe Shem doesn't know about. Maybe so-and-so doesn't know about. Maybe, you know, because you're involved in this, can you give us some websites that maybe it's like, oh, I didn't think of that. I just know Facebook or I know Instagram. Can you help us with that?
Well, you first can start with the gaming systems. That's where they at too. So check them messages in the gaming system. Dating apps from Whisper. Who else have you have? Meet Me, Grinder. What else? Bumble. Badu. There's a few more. There's plenty more. Just go through your kids' devices. Check their secret folders. See who they talking to. Again, these guys are very smart. They go on TikTok too to watch kids. That's another thing, people. If you have pictures of your kids, make it private, please. There's a lot of sickos out here that look at pictures, take them, and do what they want with them. So, again, any social media pictures you have of your kids, make it private. Make it for your family. You know, it doesn't matter what people say. Yeah, again, there's a lot of sickos out here that just take advantage. Any messaging platform they could. So, pretty much. Your mic. Press your mic.
I'm sorry. I do it all the time. I just get so much into the conversation. I'm like, okay. So, with that, you were telling me on our pre-interview,
right,
that there's sometimes some, that's what you just said, the phones that hide the apps. I know that there was one that looked like a calculator a few years back. Anything like that now, or have they changed, or is it still that same one? What have you known to be something that the children use?
They use a lot of Scout. They go on Scout a lot. Meet Me, and I just found there's a lot of dating apps, a lot. So it's hard to just even Kick. They on Kick. Yes, they are.
Still got Kick.
Yes.
The kids still use Kick.
Kids. You got cheaters.
Well, the perverts.
Cheaters, married men. That's That's what they use a lot, man. When
Gotcha.
you could tell who's who when you talk to these guys. You know.
And so you were actually saying on a live, and you guys please follow him. He'll give his information before logging off. But he was actually saying on a live that it's like they all read the same manual, the same book. I was just kind of cracking up.
Right.
I took some time to watch his live real quick. So he was saying that they actually watch a manual, right? Or it's almost like they read the same manual. So tell the listening audience about this so that they know, and that maybe they can figure out and be like, okay, how do I get this person caught, and let the police department know, look, they were trying to get together with one of my kids. And by no means am I recommending, neither is FM, neither is Shem, that you do what he does. He does that for a living. That's what he does. That's what he's good at. That's what gift God gave him. We're talking about if your child is targeted by one of these sick predators, what should a parent do? Should they continue texting back and forth? Do you recommend they just contact the police department? What do you recommend?
I recommend call the police department right away. Right away, right away, right away. Don't take matters into your own hands at all. We would love to. Most parents do, granted. A parent is parent, right, Shem? I would do what Shem was doing. But for me, like Shem said, these dudes get locked up, they come back, nobody really knows. This is why I come in, Shem. I expose them to the world. Something that wasn't done before, you know.
Awesome,
Once these people know, friends know, ex-lovers know, it spreads like wildfire. You can't go nowhere. You can't get employed. You know for what you did. So the jail time is nothing. It's like a slap, like Shem said. What I do, I put the spotlight on you. You're done for life. The internet doesn't die. Again, but parents, do not take laws into your own hands, please. Yeah. Go straight to the department. Let them know. You know, you take a device over there with you. Let them finish it off. But do not play superhero. The only hero I know is a sandwich. So please, parents, do the right thing. I know it kills you, but again, it goes to show you. Be on top of your kids. You shouldn't go that far. Keep them active. Take the phones away. Keep them less away from those devices. Yeah, they earned it. Yes, they want it. They could live without it. I did when I grew up.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure you do, Shem. Pretty
That's
sure
right.
you did, Anna. You know, we was busy outside playing tag, being kids.
Right.
You know, so the street lights came on.
That's right. That's right.
But again, it all starts at home, guys. It all starts at home. Everything starts at home. You know, that's all I can say. That's all I can preach.
Yeah. So I was telling Shem, last Friday was my birthday. I put up some pictures. I normally don't put up of my household. I try to keep that private. For these reasons. So it was just really weird that this interview was coming up because, well, the person's now blocked from my social media as well as my children's social media. But long story short, I normally try to keep the phone close by because I get texts. You know, I'm a co-pastor. I do all kinds of stuff on my time, so I have a lot on my plate. So I have to keep the phone by me. Anyhow, I woke up. And I look at my phone, I look at my notifications, and I see a notification that someone shared one of my pictures. Of course, if they're pictures of me, I don't care. That's why they're public. I know I'm a public figure. That's fine. But when there's a picture of me, myself, and my two children, I was so bothered by it because I don't even know this person. Didn't even realize I had them on my social media. So I'm like, why would they even share a picture of me and the kids? But obviously, after speaking to FM, now I kind of understand more because I don't have that kind of sick, twisted mind. Anyhow, long story short, what I did was, this was just like 2 or 3 days ago, because those pictures were just up, I think Friday that we went out to eat, and it was, I think, one of those things where I had not really gotten out, and with all of this COVID and everything, because my children are high risk, they have conditions that make them high risk, so I've decided to stay home during this time and hibernate. But um, my, you know, so I was happy to be out with my children, whom I love and protect with all that I am. But here comes somebody just sharing a picture. I'm like, wait a minute. So I deleted the picture right away. And it was nothing but of our faces, but it's still the principle that the picture got shared was very uncomfortable for me. So I like that he says to keep it private, because I didn't think anything of it. It was just, oh, it's my birthday, I'm celebrating. And these sickos, what it showed me was they'll take advantage of these situations and do that, try to share a picture, and I have great kids who don't, but when you don't even know somebody, it's just kind of so anyways, long story short, I blocked them. First I deleted the picture because I'm computer savvy. So first I deleted the picture. I said whatever was thought to be done with this picture is deleted. If hopefully they didn't get anything before then. And then now you're blocked, and you're also blocked from my children's social media, because I don't know if you're trying to follow them or what you're trying to do. You guys will be surprised at the time that I've had one of my daughters a comment under something of mine, and you have sickos actually sending them friend requests. So it does happen. Monitor. When FM is telling you guys this, it's true. Monitor, because I do. And usually they'll show me, they'll be like, look, mom, this person, and they look weird or whatever. And, that mother instinct. And FM, you're right, because I feel like messaging them back and forth and then screenshotting it and showing it to everybody and then calling the police or meeting them and having someone beat them up and then calling the police, all these things cross your mind when it's your babies, because you want to protect them and shelter them. But at the same time, it's like, because there's laws out there, and I'm going to end up in jail.
But you're talking like a parent, a true parent, so it's okay. If you don't think like that as a parent, there's something wrong with you.
Absolutely. Especially,
there's something wrong with you. I'm sorry.
People of color, especially. We're like,
if you're not going to kill for yours, there's something wrong for you. There's something wrong with you there. I'm sorry. You know? When I first started doing this, my kids were like, Dad, did the guy live? they just go to show you, man. Not everybody could do this. Shem should know. Confrontation, the heat of the moment. Somebody could get hurt badly, especially when it comes to kids. It takes a lot of composure, to do what I do. Even you too, Shem. Takes a lot. Again, a lot of people like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. But mentally, physically, emotionally, you got to be sharp. You got to be sharp.
Yep.
Absolutely. That's something that I think, because it's children, for me, it would drain me. And it's something that really angers me to even the thought of anybody trying to hurt any of our babies, because they're the next generation. That's the way it's supposed to be. Not these sickos, looking for babies to hurt, and that's what they do. They damage them for the rest of their life. Shem was damaged. He was trying to date older women, and it's like, wait a minute. I'm sure after a while he was like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Like, they're just talking to me.
Shem, did you ever get counseling for that, Shem?
No, never received counseling for it. It was something that you because of martial arts,
right?
And because I've been in a fighting community almost all my life. That was my outlet, and my outlet was martial arts. So I learned how to self-heal. I learned how to meditate. I learned how to develop ways of tapping into my spiritual energy and elevating self. So any type of trauma or any type of pain that I ever accumulated over the years, I learned how to self-soothe and self-medicate. And martial arts saved me. And I will say that martial arts saved my life. And I recommend anybody to get involved recommend anybody to, I'm sorry, I recommend anybody to get involved in the martial arts, anybody to be able to figure out a way to, get their training and their skill set on.
We seem to have it lost. Shem, he'll be right back. So now I'm going to ask you, FM.
Right.
Out of all your cases, I'm sure you've done a lot throughout the time. You don't have to say how long you've done this. I think the more private you are, the better. On air, what was your most memorable, like, dang, that was memorable case? I'm sure they all are. I'm sure they all hold something special because they're babies. What was the one case that you're like, I got to tell everybody about this?
It had to be a couple of weeks ago. My first arrest on live. That was my first arrest. It felt good that the NYPD actually put the silver bracelets on the guy. That was memorable for me. I have a lot of great catches, funny catches, physical catches, but that was my memorable because it was my first one. So I felt accomplished. If you want to say it like that.
That's fine.
All the hard work I put in, and to see him go down like that was great, And actually he flagged down the cop too. So it was even funnier. I give him an option. I said, you can either talk to me or you can talk to the cops. It happened to be a cops rolling by. And he was like, I'll talk to the cops. I thought he was just, BSing. So I looked to the side. There's cops there. He started walking to the cops. The cop spoke to him real fast. And before you know it, he's in the back. He's taking that ride, So that to me was like my first memorable, and it was funny too. So that's, yeah. I know Mikey was funny. I know everybody loves Mikey video, but to me personally, watching one of these guys go down, it felt good, They got
I need to look at that video. I have not looked at that video. You were telling me, apparently this was a guy from the Middle East somewhere. Is that correct? Right. I don't want to give him information. And,
yeah, his name is Shamir, so it's on Middle Eastern. I don't want to be incorrect, but I feel like probably Middle Eastern or Hindu, give or take. But yeah.
FM, I want to read something out to you because I think that when you fellas are acknowledged and I could see it down the feed, I want to make sure that I read it out. This is from Rebecca. You deserved it, FM. You work hard and you give a lot in caps of your time doing these exposures. We love you.
I love y'all too. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. This can't be done without y'all, victims, survivors. We wouldn't hear guys like me that do this nationwide, worldwide guests. We wouldn't be doing this without y'all. So we thank you basically for coming forward and sharing your stories. Shamir, thank you as well. We are voices when we out there exposing these guys, So
can I ask you a question? And this is totally your call if you want to answer this, FM, because I want to keep private things as private as possible. If somebody in your area feels, I may be worried about this person or whatever, do you recommend them contacting you and saying, FM, check out this person to see, or is that a no-go for you?
That's a no-go for me. I'm not a cop. I'm not a private investigator. I go online dating apps. That's how I catch these guys. But again, call your NYPD or local police department, and just speak to them about it. Don't play hero. These guys, you don't know who you're approaching. So
absolutely, and a lot of them are law enforcement. They're people that are well respected along the community. From what I've seen that you do, FM, and I've seen a few others. Right. It was kind of funny because there's this other guy who actually yells at the people. I'm like, whoa, he really exposes them. Some guy he yells out in front of everybody. I'm like, whoa, because if I see it, I'm gonna take a picture and be like, you guys, this is a predator. I just heard them be exposed at Target or wherever I was at. You
Oh,
know?
look at it. I know I have videos like that. They haven't been edited, and y'all will be amazed how how people react to it. It's like they want to do something, but everybody pulls out their phones and they start screaming out, "Look at this predator! La 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 la! Good work, man!" Then it's great. The community just goes right behind you and just cheers you on, and they exposing as well because they using their social media as well to expose them. So they get triple, quadruple the exposure. And it's great. It's great. It's great. So me berating these guys because they don't want to cooperate, walking down, let it be. They're gonna get exposed by all means necessary.
I love it. I love it. I can't tell you enough. Thank you. Because there needs to be more and more people exposed for doing this kind of stuff. Because like I said, it is horrendous. It is horrendous. Anybody would even, anyways, FM, I wanted to ask you something that I forgot to ask you at the beginning.
Okay.
What got FM into exposing these creeps? I mean, I know I asked you this on a personal level, but I'd like for you to tell people why you're so passionate about doing this, that you do for the community.
Well, I was almost a victim myself. I was young. I forgot how old I was. There was an older man that hung out with my great grandmother. So I was bringing groceries back home. He said, "Let me help you." Of course, that's my great grandmother's friend. So we got to the lobby of the building, put the bags down. He went to reach out. I thought he was going for some money or something, like he wanted to ask some money, but no, he was reaching for my penis. So I slapped his hand and I just looked at him. I kept that a secret until what? Till I became a grown man. But I walked around with my chip on the shoulder. So after that, I started watching a lot of videos. And I was like, I really want to do this. And 1 minute to the next, I'm out here doing it. You know?
And you know what? I commend you for making something positive out of something that could have been so negative for yourself. Because some people, they just self-hurt themselves on these situations because they don't know how to react to the whole fact that, yikes, this really happened to me. I was really either sexually abused, sexually molested, whatever the case may be. Even, there's just so many things that come with that. And there's some sick people. And I just commend you for, out of that negativity, same as Shem, you guys made it positive, because it's horrendous. So I don't care if you're a woman, you're sick. If they're 13 years old, they're hands off, they're babies. If I couldn't even see myself with an 18 or 21-year-old. I mean, just mentally, we're not in the same spot. It's just like, come on, man, you should know better than that. Just mentally alone, so it should be something that, find somebody your own age. And obviously you're seeking people of other ages because you probably can't pick up somebody your age because you're not all here, so you got to find a way to manipulate people. Just my opinion. I don't know.
They wire differently. They wire differently. These guys are wired differently. I'm sorry. It goes to show you. There's guys that been victims, like Shem. They think it's okay, so they inflict it on somebody else, not knowing that they do have a problem. They didn't ever seek help for it. They think it's okay in back of their mind because they've been manipulated. So it's sad. It's a sad reality. Like,
It is.
like I said, I commend Shem, because Shem could have been one of those guys that said, "Hey, fuck it, it's normal." I'm sorry, excuse my language. It's normal. Let me continue the pattern, And he did it,
And that just shows a lot. But I think that martial arts, and I may be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, or whatever type of art you do, but I would just assume it's a type of martial art. I think that also keeps people's mind balanced. Is that right? My concept with that, Shem?
If it's taught the right way.
Okay.
Martial arts, and a lot of times it can be taught in a way that unleashes the worst in you also. And that's why it's very, very key that parents find a teacher that is going to unlock the best and the positive in the child and not focus on the negative and enhancing the negative tendencies that can be there. Because we all have that yin and yang. Everybody has it. Everybody has it. So when people say, oh, there's nothing in this person that's bad, no, everybody has it. It's just about the instruction, the instructor, and the instruction that we are given, and the tutelage that we're given, and how people tap into us and help us unlock those traits. And I was fortunate enough to be in a martial arts family. I was fortunate enough to be around some amazing instructors, my father, and just amazing men who were around me. And my view on women was not wasn't tainted to the point where I just became some kind of monster behind it. So I was able to watch my father's relationship with my mother. I was able to watch men that I respected in my community with their wives. So this was something that after I got out of my playboy stage in my 20s and my young boy, my young college days and so on and so forth. But when I settled down as a man, these are things that I was able to strive for, things that now I cherish my wife and my relationship with my wife more than anything in this world. And these are things that I'm raising my daughters to emulate, how they watch me, how I interact with my wife. There's things that they'll never see. There are things that they'll never have to grow up worrying about. Was my dad going to assault my mother? Is my father going to be abusive to my mother? My power is used to help and to heal and to protect. And I'm not a man if I'm not protecting my wife. I'm not a man if I'm not protecting them. So these are things that martial arts has helped me understand, and it helped, channel my anger, channel my rage, because I was so angry at one point that I just, I wanted to unleash and, unleash against the world. But the beautiful thing about martial arts is you're never the baddest guy in the gym. So there's always somebody in there that can humble you. There's always somebody in there that can make you settle down and calm that aggression. So I learned at an early age, you're not the toughest guy on the block. You're not as tough as you think you are. So get yourself together. And that's kind of things that we teach our students. We've had some kids that have come from some very, very dangerous backgrounds, and it's unfortunate that at their age they were exposed to the traumatic incidents that they were exposed to. And these are things that we work very, very hard on in, elevating them, giving them the nurturing environment that they need. Our school, our philosophy there is, it's not just a mat, this is family. So anybody who comes and trains in my school, you have an uncle, you have big brothers, you have house moms, you have a community aspect there that you're not alone. So if Anna, you brought your son and he had a bad day, and he may say, okay, well, I don't want to talk to mom about a masculine bad day. Well, you can talk to coach. You can express it to coach without judgment. Nobody's here to put you down. Everybody's here to build you up. And that's what it's about. And that's the beauty of martial arts. If, me being a young man and having the experiences with older women at a young age, it could have destroyed me. And it could have been something that I passed on to another individual, or this, that, and the other. But it was something that I wanted to fix. I didn't want to become that. And if anything, I was so angry that I wasn't in position to do something about it. That was the real infuriating thing. That, and a lot of men, a lot of young guys, they brag about, having an older woman. Oh man, you're 10 years old, you're 12 years old, you got two older women. No, that wasn't you. You messed with me. You bothered. You took my innocence from me. You took something at an age that I was supposed to be in my purest state of mind. I was supposed to be thinking of rainbows and G.I. Joes, and I was supposed to be having Thundercat times and all this stuff. But
He-Man and She-Ra.
Yeah, right. I was being taken into closets by older women, and my first experience of oral sex, I was 3 years old. So how do where's your experiences go from that? What do you look for as you get older? You know, when I got to college, I wasn't trying to talk to girls in my own, freshman. I was trying to talk to. I was dating a lady. She was 42 years old. I was 18 years old. I was dating one 42 because there was nothing that I felt like
you guys have in common?
It was something that he learned.
Yeah, it was one of those things that you're conditioned. Yeah, like
but not for you. I'm saying her. What did you guys? You must have just. And you guys, to my listening audience, because I know I got a certain type of crowd that follows my stuff. You must have been her boy toy to say it in a more clean type of way.
No, that's actually
it must have been that, because I just can't see what she would have in common with you. She's thinking about retirement. You're thinking about starting life. I mean, you're not thinking about marriage. She wants to settle down. Obviously, if she's 42 dating an 18-year-old, she's obviously in the dating scene. So I just, ladies, come on. Like, seriously, come on. Don't try to prove anything to yourself. You can be just as beautiful at 49 years old as you were at 29. It is not like all that. Like, I don't know what, it must be the same concept that men have. Has to be, Jim. Has to be, FM, because I don't get it. I'm just like, why? I can see why you did it, because it was something that, so it's kind of like, you look at, only difference is what you two decided to do with your life. But you look at R. Kelly's history. He was abused at a very young age. He just loved it. People don't like that. You have one of his siblings who was like, I didn't like that. So he went a total different route, and you have another one that went a whole different route. So they all went different routes, and, it made him a monster. And that's just the thing. Like, I just can't even understand what a woman is thinking. We're supposed to be nurturing by nature. Okay, we're supposed to be that person that you can count on. For me to have seen whom FM caught a woman doing this for her man, there was no manipulation that you could ever do to get me to get together with a 14-year-old and want to have a menage a trois. There's no way. Okay, there's no way you're going to get me to see a handsome teenage boy and be thinking to myself, oh, yeah, I wonder what he's like. Let me show him a thing or two. Come on, ladies. It's sick. You're just as sick as the perverts that are looking for these kids online. It's horrendous to me. Just my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion, and I'm entitled to think what should happen to you, what Shem said should happen to the guys at the beginning of the show is what I believe should happen to you ladies that do that, because I think for a woman, people trust you that much more as being a nurturer. We're babysitters in their teenage years. There's just certain things that we do. And you're not supposed to take the kid that you're watching and take them to the closet and do whatever. It's just wrong. It's wrong. Or jump on top of them and make them do this and that. It's wrong. So, Shem, any closing remarks?
Protect your people. Do whatever you can to protect your family. Give them as much exposure to help them become aware. I think we oftentimes we shield our children, and we don't make them aware of the monsters in the darkness. And to a certain extent, I understand it. But the times that we're living in, these monsters are out there. Our kids are on the internet 7-8 hours a day. It seems like. There are things that go on. When I do my seminars on rape prevention and sex trafficking, there are things that go on the computer. For example, if your screen goes black and your child will complain about the screen going black, and now this screen has gone black, and you want to be Mr. Fix It or Miss Fix It and fix the computer, but you don't know what you're doing. And that's all parents. We look at it and we start pushing buttons. So what ends up happening is your child or your computer has just accessed the dark web. And now that it's accessed the dark web, they're actually live bidding on your child. That live bid is going on right now. So that camera is actually turned on, and now they are bidding on that child live time. And we don't realize it. And so what'll happen is now they'll go into your community, and they'll go to your neighbor, or they'll go to somebody
Unmute.
I can't hear you.
Okay. All right. So I'm sorry. So what they'll do is they'll go to somebody in your community, a neighbor or somebody that you may think is a good friend or whatever. And especially now because times are hard, they'll pay them $2,000, $3,000, and they'll jump on the money and say, okay, give me a report on the kids in the neighborhood under 10. Give me a report on such and such. So this is why and this is what I teach in my seminars, that you have to be aware not just of people coming from the outside in your community. You got to be aware of your neighbors, because Mrs. Johnson that you trust and you think she's a wonderful woman, well, she's struggling with her rent. And now somebody's come to her and say, okay, I'm going to pay you $2,000 to give me a report. So now she tells your child's name. She gives the time when you're going to work, the time when people are coming in and out of your house. So the predator, this is the nature of a predator. We have to remember now, this is almost like the wild out here. So when we look at lions and tigers on the hunt, their predatory nature is to hunt, devour, find the prey and devour it and do whatever needs to be done to survive. So we're looking at it from an animalistic standpoint. And as the prey, you have to be aware. You have to be mindful of everything going on, and any turn that you make can be danger. And so what they'll do is they'll get this money, and now, and this is why I teach, and I'll give this real quick. Develop code words with your children. And I'll use pineapples, for example. So let's say mommy gets into a situation to where she's dealing with an assault or dealing with somebody who's coming to attack. Teach your children how to run, how to hide, how to use the phone, how to get on the phone, dial 911. Even if you don't know where the child doesn't know where they're located, it's very simple. Hi, my name is Chris. My mom is in trouble. Can you please trace the phone call? It's that simple. It's that simple. When they call 911, this is stuff that we do in our kids class. Our kids know how to call for help. Even our 4-year-olds, they know how to call for help. And even if they don't know where they are, they know how to articulate with 911 what needs to be done. And in the event that mommy gets to neutralize the attacker, instead of calling the child's name, hey, Chris, come out. No, you say pineapples. This is our code word, because chances are this attacker has already learned your child's name. And little children, when they hear their name, they come running. So let's just say if mom gets her throat crushed and her voice is raspy, or whatever the case may be, the child knows to hear pineapples, not the name. Listen for the code word. And now you expose yourself. If you look in the wild, when a lioness has to defend her cubs, or she has to defend the hyenas or protect against the hyenas coming into the pride, the cubs will instinctively go hide in a certain area, and they don't emerge until they hear a clicking sound. It's a clicking sound, and they know that that's mom making this sound, and everything's okay for me to come out now. So we have to really watch what animals are doing in the wild to protect themselves, and we almost have to go back to that nature, because God forbid you touch one of mine, you're going to understand truly how painful, and how aggressive a protective lion can be over his pride. You know,
That's right.
So
I agree.
You're not wrong for that. You're not wrong for that. And Shem is a tough one. When he's got his own security crew going on, Shem is a tough one.
So I know. When I go do catches out there, Shem is coming with me. I said, now I know when I go out there and do some catches, Shem is going to come out there with me.
We got you, brother. We got you. Not a problem.
Yes.
Not a problem.
Shem, remind the listening audience again what it is you're trained in, just so that they're reminded to stay away from your
Muay Thai, American kickboxing, Russian style Sistema, Kessie, and Kali.
And there you have it. There you have it.
My hat goes to you, brother.
Thank you. Blessings. Blessings.
So Shem, with that being said, I had no clue about screens blacking out and all of that. I learned something today, and I'm pretty savvy on all this stuff, but that's why I have these shows. That's why I want Shem to tell you guys. That's why I want Akimani. That's why I want anybody that they know that's willing to talk about, look, parents, watch out for this, because you might not know. You might not know to say the word pineapples You might not know, and don't use pineapples because we've used that on air. Use another word, you might not need to do that. Nowadays, especially with people losing their jobs, with what's going on with the economy, be more careful than ever. You just never know. You just never know. Go ahead.
I want to give this while your listeners are here. This Saturday, we are doing a crash course seminar at the Academy. In the event that things get chaotic after this election, we are doing a crash course defense seminar because there are several militias that have already incorporated a certain style of training. And I've shared this on my page. It's called Operation Breaking Black Walls or Breaking Black Barriers and Creamy Gorilla. These are tactics that they're using to rape Black women in the event that these militias rise up and go into civil unrest. So we've been very, very key on training in certain styles over the last few weeks to prepare not just the men, but the women also. One of the worst things that you could ever try to think about is as a man being pinned down at gunpoint and watching the assault of your women and children. Now, this is how the thinking is of the enemy. And you have to understand now the enemy is preparing in a way that we're not used to. So in war, all is fair. If life is taken in war, it's understood. But there are rules of engagement of honorable men that we just won't cross. And there are lines that we will not cross. The enemy has no lines that he will not cross. And he is preparing himself to not just neutralize you, but he is preparing himself to remove every essence of dignity that you have going forward. So these are things that they're preparing for. And the sexual assault is not just geared towards women, it's geared towards men to emasculate men. So I want people to be very mindful as they're taking everything as a joke and taking everything for play. This is the preparation that these individuals are making, and they're willing to impose their will by any means necessary. So this Saturday, we are doing a crash course defense program from 1 to 4, gun defense, knife defense, close quarter defense, 3-on-1 attack, kidnapping prevention, rape prevention. We're going to do a crash course for 3 hours. So people get in where you can. It's going to be limited space. So we're gonna try to do our best to get this information out and make sure that people are prepared as possible.
So how would they be able to contact you, or through it's going to actually be in the studio, so you're not doing this via Zoom?
No, this is actually this is going to be in the studio. So you can contact on Instagram at the BUSS system. We're on social media, Facebook, the Bancroft Urban Survival System, and you can contact me on my personal Shemuel. You can inbox me, and we'll get you in there as best we can. We just want to make sure that everybody's getting trained, everybody's somewhat prepared for what's coming on. And if anybody is elderly in the community, I will do a free Zoom seminar for you. No problem, to make sure that you guys understand that you're taken care of, and we will do our best effort to keep you guys safe if any kind of pandemic or any kind of civil unrest breaks out, so you guys have some kind of understanding of what to do. So that's where we're at.
So now this is why these are great men. This is why I'm going to be contacting you after we get off the air about that. I wasn't aware that you were doing that. I don't catch everything that goes on social media. I try to follow certain ones of you guys more than others because of that, because I know you guys are doing great things in the community. So thank you for that. Shem, if you could stay on air just so, because I'm sure that FM is going to give his closing remarks and how to reach out to him as well, which is very important. I really want to connect you two, because I think between all of you guys can do some great things in all of these communities, because y'all are great men. FM.
Yes.
Closing remarks.
Parents, bully your kids' devices, down from their Xboxes, PlayStations, phones. Just bully, man. Remember, you paid for it. You paid for it. It's yours, not theirs. They'll live without it. Let them scream and pout. They'll live. Go through their phones thoroughly. Check their folders. Check anything unusual. If they act in a funny way, sit down and talk to them, not at them. Um, have a bond. Have a bond. Communicate. Communicate. It all starts at home. You know, like Shem said too, keep them active. Put them in MMA classes, boxing classes, dancing. Something that feeds their minds. Kids are kids. Kids are kids, man. We had the luxury of not having social media and we was okay. They'll live. Social media is toxic anyway, so there shouldn't be a kid on social media. They should be having fun. You know? Again, it starts out with parents.
Truly is.
Don't sugarcoat nothing with your kids. Let them know the dangers of talking older men or women, even women. Again, men or women talking funny or acting strange around you. Parents, be aware who's around your kids, friends, family. Certain keywords adult will say around a kid. Certain looks adult will look. You know, they'll do it in front of you. They'll do it in front of you. So just keep your eyes open. Be alert. I'm sorry that we have to live and feel like that, but this is not a perfect world. You know, definitely not a perfect world.
Absolutely. You know, I have like triple respect for you because I got Shem here, who's part of my community. Like I say, we being Boricua. So is FM. For anybody who doesn't know, that's one of my Puerto Rican brothers. And I just love my people and I love connecting all of my people all together. So if you guys didn't notice, of course, from up north, that's we all know that's where the rest of my people are at. I was one of the ones that stayed down south somewhere. So but I really want to make sure that people like them, people like Shem are really put out there and letting people know, look, we're watching you. We are getting creative ways to stop you. We're protecting our women, we're protecting our men, and we're protecting our children. It's not going to happen, period. FM, you have a lot of followers on YouTube. You are on different platforms. Could you please tell everybody out to you how to contact you, because I think you have an actual group and not your private page. Is that correct?
No, just have my YouTube page, my Instagram and Facebook. You can all reach out to me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, because I deal with a lot of family members that, you know, I caught their friends or whatever contact me on a regular basis. So feel free to contact me. I will get right back to you. Any questions you have, I'll be happy to answer them. You can reach me on Instagram, New York Creeps _spotlight, and on Facebook here on this platform. You see me, you can just DM me through here. So yeah, thank you, and I appreciate you so much, Jim. I appreciate you, a good brother. Keep doing what you're doing, King. Keep on doing what you're doing, man.
Both of you great men for taking out of your busy schedule to come here and educate people, because to me that's what it's all about. Let's educate them, let's get them protected, let's do what we got to do. Please reach out to Shem if there's anything local that you'd like to do in the ATL area or anywhere in Georgia. Please contact him. This sounds like something pretty interesting. 3 hours. I'm non-aerobic, so I need to get through training, but I'll get there. And FM, man, you rock, and you rock. Continue busting them, continue exposing them, because that's what it's all about. And you guys, please follow both of them, because they got either, it might be somebody you know. So you want to follow FM because it may be somebody you know who's exposed, and you want to follow Shem because he's going to have something that's going to be insightful. Shem and you know, his crew. You know, I don't want to go into all that, but his crew, and you know, that you can get to know them as you guys, as he shows them or whatever. So God bless each and every one of you guys. Next week, I will be having J.R. Reynolds. He's a filmmaker, gospel singer, so forth, so on, and he will be back. He will be here on Lunchtime with Anna. So I'll see you guys next week. God bless y'all.
Blessings, y'all. Blessings.
All right.
All right.